All right. So sales copy and social copy. Sales copy is anything that you cause a service or your digital assets to go about making the right communication so that people perceive it the way you do and go about wanting that good for the service or digital assets. As simple as that. So what does a sales copy? Now these are different than your ad copies and your emails and the other side. The sales copy typically could be something you put on a YouTube, you put it on a Twitter, etc. Not necessarily a blog, but more of a direct approach for the audience that you're looking for. There'll be a headline, which is your pitch, your sub headline, which is the purpose. You put a description, you put a social proof, that means some review or something, etc. that you want to talk about. This could be a book, this could be your course, it could be one of those things, right? And then you call for action. Somebody is interested in that, they click here, they go to a landing page. In the landing page, as an action plan, you do, the research related elements come into play, and uh, and typically it takes you to a sales page, if you will, which talks about further details, out like a webinar or one of those things, right? So that is a action plan as an outcome of a CTA. Clear? A sales copy typically will result. A sales copy is a successful sales copy. It results into sales. Period. Okay, and different people perceive it differently, but this is a generalized format that can be used for almost all sales activities, right? But based on your research, based on your audience, based on your findings, you can tweak it the way you want it and make your action plan different or your description in a particular way that you want it, and so on and so forth, right? You can put a subtopic and so on and so forth. Now you can also start with the question itself for the sale, right, guys? A, a sales typically results because people are finding answers, right? Remember that always. So if you post a question, then that itself is a headline, right? And then you pitch with the answer. Clear? So sales copy would mean that. So look for some sales copy. You get a little ideation on that. It's a general topic, hence not going into showcasing you what a template of sales etc. looks like, right? Might not serve its purpose. So it's public domain, so you can have it from wherever. Then the social copy, the stuff that you put on the social media, right? Any other social media is out there. So platform typically are Facebook to Twitter, right? The LinkedIn, the Quoras, the Instagrams of the world. Uh, Again, the typical purpose is to create curiosity, send some emotions which are high, so that there's a call to action. Simple. Now, if you play with the right emotions and the way you perceive it for your respective digital asset, you can create curiosity accordingly, right? So that people who are of the same kind of thinking pattern will get curious and do the get into the call of action to get into activity. Hence, the persona is important for this, for the social copy. Uh, in fact, persona is important for all the relevant focused audiences that you send this to. Okay, so that's one of the most important things, and hence the emphasis will laid from all RISE 1 to until now. Now the types, right? So typical social copy would consist of a story that you want to tell. It might talk about the lessons you learned. It could be simple quotes by some quotes that you like, or some blog somebody has written and you resending it as a social copy because you liked it. A question which you're finding answers to. You can put a poll out there to get input for, right? So that you get some feedbacks from a sample, and the comments that you've seen and heard, so that you can pass on the copy. And this typically then can place some part of curiosity or emotion itself, so people can give you messages or answers, and then you can take them to for a call to action. All right. So these are skills which have what has been discussed now are typical formats and typical meaning of each of these and how they have been perceived, right? But these require practice. Okay, so this cannot be something that can be seen and taught and run with. Okay, as I told you, there are too many freebies out there from .ai sites, but this is an important skill for your digital assets. So please pay attention to this and practice. Right, do this, bring it about, try and test in your social media, get some feedback, and you'll get better at it. Read the ones which existed, had a lot of followings, and so on and so forth, so you can get a better perception of how you want to be doing this. All right. So, with that topic, this brings us to a challenge. Your final challenge is to write at least one copy for each element, right? The email copy, the ad copy, the blog copy, the social copy, and the sales copy. And then, uh, you know, This should be at least for one of your assets, right? If not both of them or more of them that you have. So at least one of them, yeah. So using the principles mentioned above. Now this will bring a sense of easiness. First one, if you've not done this already in life, you might find it difficult. But that's where your research comes in. That's where your perceptions come in. That's where your practice starts happening, right? So once you do this, and this is again for the novice, right? The pro and the masters would already have, would know this. They might, not even want to know what copywriting, etc., would be, but because they know this already very well. So, but for people who don't, this was the purpose. Take it up, run it, and so that you come and become a pioneer in this as well, because this is going to be staying with you throughout. Make your inner voice and outer voice come to a cognizance so that you have a synergy happening, so that you write at will, and then what you perceive will really come out the way you want it. Got it? With that, I will look at you at the other side, and this brings us to the end of day 3. Okay? So, sorry, day 2. Sorry, for RISE2, last day. And I shall see you on for blitzscaling now. Okay? I'll see you there. Bye.